Hey everyone, I'm Alyssa, an Indianapolis Colts cheerleader for the 2024 season, and this is Believe in Colts.
Welcome back to Believe in Colts. I'm Lawrence Owen. With me, as usual, is my guy, Donald Thomas. And today we're going to go over, it's not quite time to really preview a game. So we're going to do our expectations, predictions for the season, and kind of go from there. See what, there's a lot to go over in that type of aspect because we haven't done that yet this year. We've already had preseason training camp. We've had a bunch of different types of interviews and players and coaches and things of that nature. And it's time to hedge our bets. All right. So Donald, we got this upcoming season coming up and it starts this weekend. And oh my goodness, we're going to have a long season as we have the last few years, 17 games, 18 weeks, maybe more depending upon where you're sitting on that. I'm just curious. The biggest focus right now is easily our starting quarterback, Anthony Richardson, right? The guy who only played a few games, got hurt, sat out the season, played a little bit during preseason, was up and down during training camp. Just what does Richardson need to do to succeed this year and for him to have what you consider a successful season, and what's your expectations?
Well, first off, are we just going off of my let's just go off of my perspective, right? I went to a lot of practices during training camp. I went to 2 out of the 3 preseason games. I know some people around the facility, around the building still that I'm know and all that good stuff. The success of Anthony Richardson, not even the team, the success of himself is going to solely depend on how much humble pie he can eat, and also how he has to understand the player that he is and where he is in his development. And I only say that because from a teammate perspective, from a guy who, if I was on that 53-man roster right now and I had your quarterback is the guy who leads the charge. He is the leader of the offense, if not the whole team in many, situations. And he's got to be a guy that, like, when he takes the field, like, I'm ready to run through a brick wall for it. And I don't think the Colts have that right now in Anthony Richardson. I'm just going off of what I visually see, what I've heard, and just the perspective that the persona that he puts out. Like, I want him to be a great quarterback. I want to see everybody succeed. And I truly, truly mean that. But I've also seen a lot of guys that don't succeed because they can't get out of their own way. And so, and I'm solely talking off just of players that I've talked to, what I've observed. Like, all right, I'll give you a perfect example, right?
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything online sports betting. Right now, you can receive 50% free bet up to $250 on your first deposit to bet on anything from the Olympics to baseball to Formula One. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or unwind with one of our over 150 slot games. Head to the website today and get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE for your 50% bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. Bet online. The game starts here.
And we can dive into this, but I'm glad we started off the conversation with this. I watched in the last preseason game. Okay, let's take it back. I watched in the first preseason game, or the second one when he didn't play, Anthony. I watched his demeanor on the sideline. I watched his focus that wasn't there. I watched how in tune he was with the game, which he should have been more engaged in it. It just wasn't serious. Like, you're going back into your rookie season. You only played 4 games. Yeah, you had the headpiece in. You got a hoodie on, got your jersey on over it. You're dancing to every song. You're joking around. Yo, you should be, what's the call? All right. Looking at the defense, you should be engaged in all of that. You got to keep your guys engaged. You should be not dancing and chilling, and this ain't a night off. This is mental reps.
Yeah.
This is mental reps. So, like, I'm watching this. I'm sitting there watching this. I'm row 4. I'm right behind the team. I'm watching it. I'm like, yo, this is not. And I'm by myself. I came to the game by myself. I sat by myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't talk to nobody. I just watched. And then I went to the last game. And I watched as the offense took the field and the O-line jogged out there. Receivers jogged out there. Tight ends, running backs all jogged out there. Who walked the whole way out there? Right? So, like, now I'm in the huddle and I see my quarterback who's walking like he's – yes, he had a good drive the first drive. He drove down. Cincinnati played a very vanilla defense, right? There's holes. You expose them. But you should be able to do that because you're an NFL quarterback, 100%, and you're a starter. So you should be able to do that. It felt great, whatever. Came off, walks out again the next series, right? Walks out again. And I said I went with one of my guys, I said, yo, he walked out. That would have bothered me. I said, then he walked out again. I said, see what I'm talking about? He's like, yeah, see. I was like, you can't walk out. Jog out there with your brothers. Like, you're about to this is the battlefield. You're about to go to war. Like, walk out there, jog out there with him. So he goes out there, he throws the pick 6. I said, watch this. Next series, I said, I guarantee you he runs out on the field. What'd he do? Because he got a slice of humble pie right there, right? So all I'm saying is this, is that when we talk about Anthony, I think he has, like I said before the last episode that we did together, I think he checks all the boxes physically. So I'm sorry, phone. Checks all the boxes physically, right? But when it comes down to making sure that is he a leader, like, excuse me, how well is he going to lead this team and how serious does he take this for his development? I question that. And that could be his demise for the year. It could really hurt the Colts because I don't know how much Joe Flacco talks to him as far as mentoring and, like, you know, all the above. Like, I don't know that, and I'm not going to speak on that. But I know that there needs to be more. Somebody's got to do something because I feel like this game, and I'm sorry, man, I go on a tangent, but this is a lot of stuff that's built up. It's changed so much. We cater to the players so much. We like, it's so laid back and lackadaisical, and it's not their fault because this is all they know, right? But when I came in, it was real militant. It was you praying to make it through practice. There was no messing around the sidelines. It was 5 minutes early to meetings. I'm not saying they're not, but it was very, very serious business when it came down to it. It's so laid back now. It's more fun, and guys have so much leeway. And so as a rookie coming in, I don't care if you're a first-round pick or not, the vets hold you to a certain standard. I don't know if that standard is being held right now because I'm seeing a lot of vet-like qualities in Anthony, who's only played 4 games in the NFL. You don't walk on the field, brother. You got to be a leader. You got to be a student of the game because you are the most important. You have the hardest position in all sports. I said that last season. Quarterback, to play quarterback in NFL, in my opinion, is the hardest thing to do in sports. I'll debate anybody till the cows come home. So you got to be a leader. You got to take this thing serious. You can't show these qualities because guess what? Guys don't believe in that. I can't go to battle when we get in that huddle and you tell me we need this 3rd and 1 with, 10 seconds to go and we're down by 4 points and we got to score a touchdown, that you're going to get that for me. You're going to make that good throw or you're going to make the right decision because I don't know how you're going to grasp that moment. I don't know how much film you I'm not saying he doesn't. But what I'm saying is I don't know if guys will run through that brick wall for him just yet. And that when you see successful teams, I guarantee you that Kansas City O-line will run through a brick wall for Patrick. 100%. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a difference. And you see that when they take the field, we have to mature and we have to hold guys to a higher standard in order for us to be successful this year.
So basically, this first game is going to be kind of a mental check for him. Was what you're saying in the aspect of if we end up getting down early or something of that nature, you better see a very seriousness to him rather than just chit chatting and dancing or whatnot on the sideline. He needs to be more on his iPad or talking to the coaches, or even when the defense is on the field, looking at the other team's offense and seeing what they're doing, that kind of stuff. If he's not on his iPad and talking and figuring stuff out, maybe talking to the offensive line about different things that he sees from the defense, and when it comes to the blocking and stuff, to help him out. I could see that a lot, but at the same time, you was talking about making the right decision, right, with Anthony Richardson, and obviously the preseason games that he played, yes, they were RPOs, but not one defender out there on the field against him believed that he was going to tuck and run on an RPO decision, right? I mean, it's preseason. You don't do that. So now that the season is coming along, he's got to make those decisions. Is he going to take the ball? Is he going to hand it off? Is he going to throw the football? He's got to make those proper decisions, where most of the time it was either hand off in preseason, it's hand off the football or step back into the pocket. He wasn't taking off. So,
right.
And everybody knew that. So, and that in itself, yes, he's got to make the right decisions on that, but he's got to be able to take a run once in a while as well to keep the defense with that thought in mind, right? He needs to. I know a lot of people are going to, but he shouldn't take off that because of injuries. And I'm like, no, just make sure you get down or something of that nature, or run out of bounds, whatnot. But you got to be able to take off once in a while just to keep the defense on their toes and honest with it, so that they're not either crashing down on Taylor or crashing down on you, because they know you're going to drop back to pass every time you don't hand it off. That in itself, because he is a big mobile quarterback, that's like a third of his game that is available on the field. And if you take that away, he's a third of the quarterback that he would be, or 2/3 of the quarterback that he would be if you took that away from him. So yes, he's got to be able to do it, but he's got to make the right choices when he does do it. Right. There's been times where I've seen where he should have probably, watching the hot read on an RPO, hey, if this guy takes off, I should probably go, and you'd see the guy take off and Anthony just handed the football off or stepped back into the pocket, and he should have took off where the vacant area was going to be, in a run in an RPO, if that was an option, but I'm pretty sure it was. I mean, if you see something like that, you take it. So when it comes to Anthony Richardson, where are you expecting this? Because obviously, I mean, yes, it's a sophomore season, but it's basically like his rookie season, right? I mean, because he didn't get a whole lot of play time last year, and he's still, learning and getting to know the guys around him on the field in a game time experience. Is a little different than practice. Where do you feel Anthony is at right now, after all the watching and his actual abilities, his quarterback ability, just his ability to be a quarterback itself, rather than, just the leadership aspect of it, but, the actual work part of it, where he's on the field and making decisions and stuff like that. What's your expectations of where he's going to be at that point?
I think from a standpoint of making decisions, the correct decisions, right? I think he's still at the rookie level, right? And so there's different levels of rookie levels that when we think about quarterbacks in the past, I think he's like right in the middle of the pack when it comes to that. Just because I haven't seen enough yet, like that's the only reason why I'm saying that. But I'll say this, like you said something like he has to learn how to when he's going to run the ball, when he's going to hand it off, when he's going to do X, Y, and Z, right? Like every professional athlete and every good athlete, right? Like there's probably things that you did as a kid that you could just naturally do, right? Like no one taught you how to do something. You could just naturally hop on the field and do it. You grab a ball, whether it's running, jumping, whatever it is, basketball, whatever it is, you could just do something that like other guys have to work at, right? And so, with Anthony, I think he's just so naturally gifted as an athlete that running with the football was always part of his game, where that was his like safety valve. Whether it was predetermined before the ball was snapped, or if it didn't look good, I don't have to take time to like make sure that it doesn't. I'm just telling you it doesn't look good, I'm out. Because I know I can get some yardage because I can just do that. I'm elusive, I'm big, I can run fast, I can take hits, I can run guys over. Like you can imagine Anthony playing high school football. But he was just running dudes over.
Oh, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Even at Florida, like he was running dudes over. Like he was running, like so. But when you get to the league, like you always I tell guys all the time, you run into that one dog every now and then. Like, and same thing for me in my career. I remember vividly in college, and I don't mean to run off on a tangent. I just think this all ties in. It was easy. I was always just naturally strong. I could always just, move a guy. That was my ability, was to move people. And I remember we were playing Syracuse. It was the first time I really felt somebody with equal strength that I went up against. And we had that first hit. And I usually would just like get you, like, give you like, and it didn't happen. Like he countered. And I said, ooh, okay. I like the challenge, right? But like you're not gonna come up against that dog every play, right? So like you can develop bad habits, is what I'm saying, because you can get away with it. Like I remember I got in my rookie year, my coach said he watched a lot of me from college. He said, "Hey Donald, like, excuse my language, said we ain't doing that one-handed blocking shit out here. You get away with that in college. You can't get away with that in the NFL." It was true, but I was just so used to being like, to where it was like I'll sometimes get caught in a bad predicament where I was like, all right, make sure I use both my hands. It's like in college, I can just hold you off like this. So I say all that to say this: like Anthony's so naturally gifted that sometimes it could be to his demise a little bit. So he has to really learn. I think it's great that Joe Flacco's there because he's a seasoned veteran quarterback that's won a Super Bowls, had a ton of success. Like he's older, obviously now, but he can bring a lot of, wisdom to Anthony to help him in his decision-making process. I think that there's still a work in progress, obviously. I think that there's a lot to work on, but you can't work on those things until it's live reps. We could talk about them all day. We could watch the film. You could be ready for it mentally. You might see that picture, but you got to make that decision right then and there when you see it from the film to your eyeballs to real life. You got to, boom, it's decision-making time. So he's got to learn that, right? And I think there's going to be some times where, like, he's going to run with the ball and he might try to pitch it and pitch phase might be off. He might be late a little bit. There might be, a fumble there or, there might be something where, like, he decides to run and guys are coming downhill and there's going to be a lot of that. So I'm just interested to see his decision-making because it's going to have to happen pretty quick here. He's going to have to make, some decisions here. Like I'm telling you right now, if you don't think Houston's got something cooked up for him, you're crazy. They're going to try him right off the gate.
Oh, yeah. But I got a feeling that, Shane Steichen's got stuff drawn up to make things a little bit easier on Richardson as well. I mean, that is something that we saw a lot of last year where we were bailed out because of Steichen's ability to draw up plays and the right times to use those plays. catching defenses off guard and kind of protecting your quarterback a little bit as well, not just with Richardson, but last year also with Gardner Minshew, I think.
Can I ask you a question, though? I don't mean to cut you off. When do we take the training wheels off to where we don't have to make all this, put them in good position, put them in great situations? Like, when is it when I can just take the whole playbook and be like, 3rd and 6, I can call these 15 different places. I know he's ready for that. As to where we have to have a lot of check downs, because look at it like this, right? There's other quarterbacks out there. The playbook's wide open, right? Like, they're going to get the team in good positions, right? They're going to make sure that they get the receivers to where they need to be, right? So we won't have to have all these safety valves in the offense, right? I think sometimes, and I'm not saying just in this situation, but this is in football, period, or any sport, there's a lot of limitations in that thought process.
Mm-hmm.
When I have a guy who, if I take him in the first round, this is anybody, take him in the first round, I have to keep tweaking things so that he can be successful. Well, then why did I take him in the first round then? I'm ready to go at some point, but I get it. He got hurt, so we have. But I'm just saying, in general, moving forward as we go, like, this is where the learning curve has to start, and this is for everybody, to where you don't have to make sure, like, let's just say, like, we take a tackle in the first round, and he's struggling all year in pass pro. So I got to bring the tight end in to chip. So what does that do? That hurts my passing game with the tight end now, because he's getting out late. Sometimes he has to stay in just to help him block. Well, damn it, why did I take him in the first round? Why do I have to slide the protection every time to help this guy out, right? And I have a short side. Now the quarterback's always throwing hot because we're sliding the protection one way, opposite. So I'm saying all that just to be like, at some point, like you just asked, when is it going to happen? It has to happen pretty quick.
Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with when you're able to see that his pre-snap read is good enough to be able to make adjustments to the play, to take advantage of something that he might see on the field on the defensive side of the ball. When you start seeing that more and more and more, I think that's when the training wheels come off and you're able to be like, all right, I feel comfortable with him now. He can see the field and know what the defense is doing before they do it, or, the split second that they are doing it and he's able to do something. So I think that's when it happens. And you're right. I haven't seen that yet from him yet. Obvious when a defensive player, tips their hat when they're blitzing or something, everybody on the stadium and then a home sees, hey, that guy's, getting ready to come. But you seeing him like just kind of slide over a little bit, a player, and you're like, oh, okay, he's coming this way, or, they're going to do this specific defensive play. I should probably, change into off tackle run rather than a sweep because they're going to be out wide, or something of that nature. I think that's when the training wheels come off.
Yeah.
Like he said, hit that like button, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening to this on an audio podcast, leave a review and a rating. We'd appreciate it. And share it, your favorite social media. Tell your friends, tell your family about the show. Get everyone to come in and hang out. Give us comments in the comment section so that we can see what your thoughts are as well. And maybe it'll give us ideas for talking points on the next show. And I think that's going to do it for this episode. I'm Lawrence Owen. That's Donald Thomas. This was Believe in Colts, brought to you by Bet Online. And as usual, go Colts.
Go Colts.
Do you believe?